is
champion.
Yeah, undisputed champion. Nigga, I was saying I need to get money. I need to get out of my situation. That's another thing why I say like once I get to while I'm at this level, like it's no point, like it's no more point to prove to myself.
Swindle around and fight Jake Paul for this money. If you think I'm going to sit back by the wayside and sit there and be like, well, even though I'm contracted to fight this guy for this amount of money on this certain day, I'm just going to sit here and be cool with, oh, he might not ever fight me, and he's going to go fight and get paid and get this money, and I'm not supposed to get anything.
Gervonta Davis has finally explained why he chose to fight Jake instead of pursuing a rematch with Roach. However, things have begun escalating now that Lamont Roach is reportedly considering legal action against Davis over an alleged contract breach. Speaking in a recent interview, Tank stated that even if he had fought Roach again, fans would still have criticized him. So now he's prioritizing what's best for him financially, securing the bag.
Nah, Tank is a money fighter. Who's the bigger money fight for Tank? I don't think that's Shakur.
Who else would you think? Jake Paul?
Yeah, for sure, but I'm not even talking about fake boxing. Like, for sure, he gonna do that if that's this.
As you may have noticed, Tank appears disconnected from the sport itself leading up to his fight with Jake. But according to his recent comments, that disconnect began right after the draw with Roach. In his own words, it just,
I don't want to put a lot out there, but it just, doing what's best for me and what's right for me. And I've been doing this for a little minute now. I've been doing it for...
That answer certainly did not land well. To many, it sounded evasive, like someone trying to avoid reopening a door he had firmly shut. Lamont Roach wasted no time mocking him for it. He posted a picture of Lisa Simpson crying red-eyed, captioned, "Every time he got to explain why he's fighting Jake, it was sharp, funny, and cutting in the classic style of boxing rivalries."
Boxing. Pound for pound talent. And me, on the other hand, coming up from 130 to 135 to fight this monster. That's going to make me a 2-division world champ. That's going to make me 2-time world champ. And that's going to put me in the...
But humor didn't mask Roach's frustration. He remains bitter that the rematch he expected, the one most fans believed was next, disappeared the moment Davis signed to fight Jake Paul when the fight news broke weeks earlier. Roach had fired off another jab online, writing, "Told you all duck duck," with for duck emojis just to drive the point home.
Like, just handle the business right. That's all. Just handle the business right. Don't think you're going to do bad business with me and think it's just going to be okay. No, we're going to call you out every single time. Don't duck a fight with me and fight a YouTuber that's 200 pounds and think it's okay. It's not okay. I don't care what, unless you took the proper,
But it seems that Tank's decision to skip his rematch with Lamont Roach and face Jake Paul instead has taken another turn, this time on the business.
But Tank's decision to skip his rematch with Lamont Roach and instead face Jake Paul has taken another turn, this time on the business side. Lamont Roach has now addressed whether he plans to pursue legal action against Davis for what many viewed as a breach of their rematch agreement. In an interview with Inside the Ring, Roach made it clear he wasn't taking Tank to arbitration, despite having the option. "I never said this publicly, but no, we aren't going to arbitration," Roach stated. "Because I'm very well taken care of." He didn't clarify what taken care of meant, but his tone said enough. Someone already made it right financially.
Were to go to arbitration, then what? Then you got to pay lawyer fees, or you put your promotional company in a hole where they have to back you because technically it's on them. They're the ones who putting on the fight. That's who I have the contract. That's who draws up the agreement, the contracts, or whatever the case may be. So, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy for you to do business-wise.
Roach publicly thanked Al Heyman, PBC, and Davis's team for stepping in. "I want to publicly thank Al Heyman, PBC, and everyone who made things right on his behalf. Even though he messed up on his end, they fixed it on mine." That statement essentially confirmed that PBC reached a private settlement with Roach, compensation to keep the dispute out of court. For a fighter who pushed hard for that rematch, it was a quiet, businesslike way to close the issue, and it revealed how boxing politics operate behind the scenes. When a star like Davis pivots to a massive payday fight, the machine ensures loose ends are tied.
It don't look like that's gonna happen. For everybody that keep asking me, everybody be on every single boxing page, boxing source, you're hearing it from the horse's mouth. It might not happen, or most likely not gonna happen for sure. Same, but I think he dodging that. Dodging God's plan. You know what to do, reach out. If you want to fight or you don't, simple. That's it.
For Gervonta, this is personal but in a different way. He has openly admitted his motivation is fading. He has fought since childhood, built a legacy, earned headlines, and now he leans toward financial comfort rather than chasing more accolades. And from his perspective, he has earned that right. The Jake fight is his opportunity to cash out, stay healthy, and walk away on his terms. But in doing so, he has reignited a bigger debate. What happens to boxing when its stars prioritize the biggest check over the toughest challenge?
Him and Tank Davis weren't friends. Him and Tank Davis weren't cool. They didn't really know each other like that. They were just cordial. This is a different cry from what he said about Tank Davis leading up to his first fight with Tank Davis. And I believe it is because he realized how out of pocket he had been. He realized that, well, let me make it seem like it's not as out of pocket to shit on him after he gave.
Among current fighters, few have been as candid about this dilemma as Shocker Stevenson. Shocker has said he understands Tank's decision, but added he wouldn't have done the same. According to him, Tank came close to losing to Lamont Roach, and if he took the rematch and lost, his value would drop. Therefore, by choosing Jake Paul before risking a loss, the event will likely sell far more.
My man, for taking that opportunity, because this is prize fighting, right? It's about making money and securing your family. Can you fault him for that?
It's two sides of that. Like,
okay.
It just depends. Like, as a fighter, just because I had a draw with somebody, for me, I may run it back. But in a business aspect, if you run it back and you lose to Lamont, and
then there's Terrence Crawford, who didn't sugarcoat anything. Crawford bluntly said Jake Paul's size makes this a dangerous matchup for Davis. Jake's way too big for Tank, Crawford said. Coming from one of boxing's most respected tacticians, that warning carries weight. He isn't mocking the fight or questioning Tank's heart, he's pointing out simple physics. Paul's larger frame, natural weight, and reach could turn this from a show into a real threat. In Crawford's view, this is not an easy option. It's a strange gamble, more about surviving a mismatch than proving supremacy. Still, not everyone in boxing opposes Davis's move.
Your instant reaction to that?
I don't know what's going to happen with a 135-pounder going up against a 200-pounder. I think it's not a real fight. Jake just too big. Tank ain't gonna be able to get in from that jab. Jake land one good punch on Tank.
Rolando Romero defended him, saying people need to stop acting like fighters shouldn't get paid. You can't blame Tank. He's got a family to feed, Romero said. It's a simple point, but one that resonates with anyone who has seen fighters go broke after punishing careers. Romero's stance, nobody else takes the punches, so nobody else gets to judge how a fighter secures his final payday.
bro, you can't be mad at somebody for doing what they feel is best for them.
Will it impact Tank's legacy if Jake Paul were like to beat him or even like knock him out?
Dude, Tank's a 3-division world champion, 4-time 3-division world champion. At the end of it, bro, you can't take...
Davis's camp shares that view. His longtime trainer Calvin Ford framed the Jake Paul fight as a smart business decision, not a betrayal of boxing. Ford said they negotiated the fight details carefully. Gloves, weight, everything to protect Tank and maintain leverage. To them, it's just a professional maximizing his value before retirement. This is a business decision, Ford said. That line keeps echoing from Davis's side. It's no longer about Roach. It's about making the most of a limited window.
My only concern is, the gloves. You understand what I'm saying? Because we don't fight in 12-ounce gloves. We don't use 12-ounce gloves. That's training gloves. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, that's 2 pounds away from Jake. He fights in 10s.
Meanwhile, Roach has hinted that this story isn't over. He's frustrated enough to mention possible legal routes if a rematch agreement truly existed. For now, it's noise without action, but his tone shows he feels pushed aside by money politics. What bothers him most isn't just losing the opportunity, it's how fast it vanished once a bigger payday entered the picture. To him, it's a professional snub that challenges boxing principles, merit rankings, and fairness.
Jake Paul brings something to media and to boxing. You cannot miss a fight. I like it, baby. I like the drama it's bringing, I'll be honest.
But honestly, nobody really cares about this fight.
Yeah, are you going to watch it?
Yeah, of course. That's how it's going to go. Nobody really cares, but everybody's going to watch it. Like,
he said, nobody cares about this.
Even Eddie Hearn, speaking as a promoter, admitted that while fans may dislike it, the math makes sense. You can't blame Gervonta, he said. Look at it, $5, $7 million for Roach or $30 million for an exhibition with Jake Paul. I don't think we should judge. It's blunt but practical. Hearn's perspective reflects a broader truth. Boxing economics have shifted. Prize fighting has always been about prizes, but today's media era turns legacy fights into luxury events. Tank's choice is a byproduct of that shift.
It's kind of weird because Jake Paul is extremely bigger than Tank, and I mean, but with it being a exhibition, it makes sense. It's fine. He got a big.
And yet, for all the talk of money, there's still an air of uncertainty around it.
Yet despite all the money talk, uncertainty still surrounds the event. Rules are flexible, gloves are larger, and the bout might not even count on official records. It's spectacle over structure, a show wrapped in what used to be pure sport. Tank seems fine with that trade-off. He's no longer chasing validation, only a final payout. Whether fans approve or not, he has accepted it. He's stepping into the ring against a man nearly twice his size, not for belts, but for one more headline and one more check.
Gio's World, facts. That's why Tank wants to fight Jake Paul. I'm telling you, he want to fight Jake Paul because he know if he climb in the ring with Shakur Stevenson, he's going to get zapated.
Still, for many fighters and analysts, this situation reflects boxing's current evolution, where financial leverage can outweigh tradition. Teofimo Lopez shared his thoughts with Knockout Artist Sports, saying he isn't bothered by Davis's choice and doesn't believe it hurts his legacy. Tank versus Jake, less than a month away, may the best man lose, Lopez joked. He added that it won't affect Tank's legacy, only his bank account. Lopez believes Tank already proved himself in the ring, and choosing a money fight near the end of his career is simply part of a superstar's natural progression. Fighters don't last forever. The big payday is logical.
What do you think of Jake Paul, Gervonta Davis? I know on Instagram you called it a circus.
Yeah, boxing is slowly turning into the WWE. That's what I think.
Does Tank Davis have a chance?
Yes, but
yeah?
I don't even want to talk about it. Don't ask me a question like that again.
That aligns with Davis's earlier comments this year. The 30-year-old already hinted at retiring before 2025 ends. His tone in interviews has become reflective, even detached. He's spoken about boxing since childhood and how this is the first camp he's genuinely enjoyed in a long time. For someone in the sport over 2 decades, that signals burnout, not hunger. That's what gives the Jake Paul fight weight. It's technically an exhibition, but likely the final major chapter of Davis's career.
If Jake knocks out Tank, we're crushed. If it goes all 10 and it was a sparring session, we hate it. And that's the Black Two Sugars. So the question is, can Tank knock out Jake? And this is what we're going to look at right now. First, the biggest question that I had was, can Tank...
However, not everyone views this matchup as harmless spectacle. Some say agreeing to it hurts Davis's credibility. Others argue he's simply winning at the modern boxing game. Interestingly, the fight is making history not because of the matchup, but because of how it's being recorded. Boxrec has created a new category, HYB Pro Hybrid Professional. It's designed for events mixing exhibition-style rules with professional structure. Normally, exhibitions aren't logged at all, but this one skill forced a policy shift. The HYB Pro tag means the bout won't count on Davis's or Paul's official records, but it gets documented for its significance.
Listen, he's a marketing genius, but when it comes to people that pick and lose fights, I can't get my head around it. If Tank hits him clean, he's going to sleep. He'll have a lot of smoke blowing up his backside by his coaching team and people like that, but when he gets hit for real, 10 ounce, well, I'm told it's 16 ounce gloves now, it's like an exhibition. Right. I'm told it's big gloves and head guards.
The fight's format reflects that hybrid concept. According to ESPN's Andreas Hale, the bout will be held at a 195 lb catchweight, far above Davis's usual 135 pounds. It'll be 10 3-minute rounds with 12-ounce gloves, heavier protection than pro fights, lighter than exhibitions. Davis will step in with a massive size disadvantage, around 60 pounds lighter than Paul has fought before. Yet again, the event leans more toward entertainment than competition.
Somehow looking good in this. I don't know how it is. It's looked to me David and Goliath, but David got skill and Goliath doesn't. But I don't know how it's going to work out. But if for some reason it winds up being a really fun event and it has tons and tons of millions and millions and millions of viewers, when Gervonta Davis
and Netflix's involvement shows this isn't a pay-per-view, it's global streaming at a fraction of the cost. The model echoes modern crossover events, spectacle first, sport second. For Davis, it's not a downgrade, it's expansion. There's also a tech twist. An AI judge will serve as the third scoring official. The AI score will be reviewed by human judges to finalize results. It's unusual, headline-grabbing, and perfectly reflects the blurred line between real competition and showbiz.
I don't want to beat up somebody that small. I don't want to, you know what I'm saying?
What do you think of the fight?
I don't want to lose to somebody that. There's no point in the fight. It's a great fight, actually.
You think
I'm not hating on the fight, but I think my thoughts on it is let's watch and see what happens.
Ryan Garcia said his boxing is turning into WWE.
Yeah,
with that type of matchup.
All of that helps explain why fighters like Lopez aren't criticizing Davis. They see him taking control and choosing his ending, and Jake Paul is fueling the hype. Revealing on the Double Coverage podcast that there's a massive knockout bonus on the line. If someone gets knocked out, they get a big bonus, Paul teased, without giving the number, but saying it's huge enough to raise stakes.
And then you have Jake Paul, Gervonta Davis. That's the state of boxing.
Yeah, that's
right now.
crazy.
Let that sink in.
Jake
That's
Paul,
right
Gervonta Davis is so crazy. 135 versus 200. That is so nuts.
They're all expedition.
None of them are.
They're exhibition.
That incentive amps up excitement, turning what could have been a light showcase into a risky showdown. For Paul, it's another test against a legitimate champion. For Davis, it's proving that even outside his weight class and nearing retirement, he's still built different. Paul's record sits at 12-1 with 7 knockouts, and while critics still question his competition, his win over Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. established him more than a YouTuber. Davis remains undefeated at 3-0-1 with 28 knockouts, one of the cleanest modern records.
Tank is big, Tank has a lot of skill, but I don't think he's the same Tank that we saw the most incredible knockouts. We saw him, Lamont Roach performed great. They went to draw, and, I just don't know. And Tank walked away. I don't know if he loves it enough to beat a guy who outweighs him by 80 to 100 pounds.
Still, the size difference can't be overlooked. Paul has weighed as high as 227 pounds. Davis has never gone above 140, nearly a 100 lb gap at times. But again, that's what makes it a spectacle. Controlled chaos by design.
A 92-pound weight difference, almost a 100-pound weight difference. It's insane. Let's say he comes in at 200 pounds. It's still a 65-pound weight advantage. That is called one thing. That's called being a bully. It's like, dude, what are you doing? What don't you understand about this? If you want respect.
Even ESPN's Andreas Hale said that while the matchup looks odd, its structure and scale justify its existence. Hale noted it's treated as an experiment, one that may reshape how exhibition boxing is marketed and archived. With Netflix backing it, the audience will be massive. Share your thoughts below and subscribe for more updates.